everybody, happy 4th. It's a little late, but maybe this festive shirt will make up for it. So I didn't even think I was going to do another one, seeing that I was away, but I did find some stuff, and heck, I did bring my suitcase, so I am paying to take this stuff back. But anyways, I did go to a thrift store this week, a couple, but I didn't really find anything too interesting. I found some Genesis games that were like combat cars and NBA Jam and nothing really crazy, but I found a ColecoVision for $15, but I wasn't too interested in having a ColecoVision, so I did order 2 Genesis games, again, just because I tend to just look at prices, and if it's a really decent price for what I'm getting, or I just jump on it. So because I don't want to be waiting forever for some of these games. So I bought these 2 games from the same seller, and Castlevania Bloodlines and Sparkster. And Sparkster's been going up in price. It's usually around complete, nice condition, maybe around $45 to $60. Castlevania Bloodlines, around the same, really, $50 or so. It's funny because I got the other Konami game, but both these are actually for the same seller, and both had a buy price for $29.99. So I clicked on one and saw what else he was selling, and saw that these were in there, but I didn't see pictures of any of these. That's the problem. They were just the generic photographs, but inside they said they were complete, and I emailed the guy and said, hey, is this the hard version, the hard plastic version of the game? And he said, yeah. And for Sparkster, it said like complete, but it said the manual was falling apart. And I said, can you send me a photograph? And apparently you can take photographs, but he did. And so basically, yeah, the front page and the back page are falling off, but I think I can get this somewhat fixed. Maybe flatten it out and apply some paper mache or glue to it, and then restaple the thing. Decent game. Both of them work well. But when I received them, God, it's like a sauna in here. I'm already sweating. When I received them, mainly Castlevania Bloodlines had issues with it. It smelled like cigarette smoke. It also came with at least Castlevania did, came with its registration card. But yeah, they smelled like cigarette smoke. And Castlevania Bloodlines, the manual has some water damage on it. Not going to be able to see it in this lighting or anything, but some of the pages are literally, they're so stuck together you wouldn't even know it was a separate page. But if you look at it, it starts on page 4, so I'm assuming there's a 3 and a 2 before it, and same thing goes. And I tried kind of peeling it away, but it started tearing, so the manual's kind of in rough shape, unfortunately. Hey, look. Konami Insider Newsletter, $5 for 4 issues a year. Interesting. Internet's free now. Yeah, I contacted the seller and said, hey, this wasn't noted. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I got it from this guy. His place reeked of it and that, and his girlfriend's perfume. So he didn't know before he sold it to me. And he just gave me a $10 refund. So these were $60 and together. And I got both of them basically for $50. So I think that is a solid deal. I went to a flea market today. Got there somewhat early. Wasn't a lot of people setting up at the time. There were people there, but it seemed like there should be a lot more. Anyways, I go to a table. It seems like it's one of those sellers that kind of just sell a bunch of different things together. But they're all on tables. It wasn't like the ones where you go up and it's like everything's $1. I noticed that they had some Super Nintendo games and PlayStation games laid out, and then I got closer and I saw some Game Boy Advance manuals and Game Boy Advance SP and a regular Game Boy Advance. There was a Dreamcast sitting on the table. PlayStation games, they had like a bunch of really shitty ones. They had the only one there that I thought was None of them were really interesting, but none of them were worth anything, except I think they had a Yu-Gi-Oh game, but it didn't have its manual, and it was a black label, but I left it there. I did find that they had a 3DS box, and I was going through the loose manuals that they had on the table. They had some Game Boy manuals, some DS stuff. I grabbed one of the Nintendo Point things, but obviously I wanted to get this box because I have my system, I have all the paperwork, but I didn't have the box or anything, so it's kind of weird how I pieced together this modern day system like that. And I even, where did I find? There's, in here there's the complete set of, I think there were 6 in here, I counted, and I think there's supposed to be 6. But anyways, it had the AR cards. It even came with some like collectible Mario cards, and it's like a one with a pop out, and some cool temporary tattoos. The ice flower and the whatever the guy, the spiked Troopa is. Spiked Koopa thing. Whatever. But yeah, I grabbed some manuals like Donkey Kong at 94 and an insert that went with it, and Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland, SP booklet, Game Boy Color booklet. So I figured those might come in handy. They did have one other system that I was interested in the table, and they gave me they quoted me on a price of $25. And I didn't really know the value, so I said, you know, maybe I'll think about it. But a little bit down from there, I checked on the value, and I was like crazy that it was worth like $100, and I didn't think it was worth that much. But yeah, either way, I continued to look around the market, and there were some people there selling some video games. Some dealers, etc. There was a guy there who had a complete copy of Super Metroid for $100. It was in okay shape. Box was a little bit rough in the corners. I didn't look inside. I didn't want to bother. I did head back to that first dealer who I bought, or I didn't buy this. I asked if I could have this, and she said sure. So I did head back there to get that system, and that system was an Atari Jaguar, people, which I'm not super enthused about, but I knew that it's not something you come by every day. I found games for it before. I found controllers, an RF cable, like official Atari Jaguar RF cable. But yeah, never the system. I know that the CD system is crazy rare, but yeah, I didn't think this was worth that much. And apparently it's gone up in value quite a bit recently, or maybe it's always been high. It's gotten that obscure appeal. But this thing is supposedly like $130 system. It has a controller. Let's see, power. It has all the cables except the AV cable. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to have some other kind of attachment here. I still think that I can get RF out of this spot here. So let's hope it works. I paid $25 for this and all that, as well as, now I think, I didn't know the value of this, but I know it's probably worth something. It came with the Aliens vs. Predator complete in box. The box up at the top has a little tear there, some crushing a little bit on the side. But either way, it has everything in there. It even has the little slips that you're supposed to put in, the overlays for the controller. And I did find a Game Boy, outer condition pretty good at the table, and didn't have the back or anything, but the reason why I bought this was because of the Pokemon Game Boy Advance that I bought for $1, it was a month or two ago. I'm just going to swap out the screen, and she gave this to me for $5, and that's the normal price I would pay for a screen anyways, but or for a Game Boy. But yeah, I think it's worth it. So I was leaving, and the person who was with me said, "Hey, do you like N64 games?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have an N64." And basically they pointed over to this the same dealer on the table. They had some N64 games out in a N64 case. And the case is actually in much better condition than the one that I got a little while ago. Not a little while ago, I think it was last summer. I said, how much do you want it? I just want the case. Would you sell me the case? And the dealer said, $5. And I was like, okay. Really didn't want to bargain down that price. Who knows, they might have even raised the price. But yeah, the games inside were like Scooby-Doo and Rugrats, and not very interesting. You know, I still managed to have some decent finds here, and I did splurge a little bit on the Sega stuff, but like I said, I don't think I'd ever come across this stuff. Maybe if I went to the flea markets more, I'd see them more often, but Sega stuff's been becoming harder and harder to come by, so I figured I'd grab them in somewhat decent condition. Maybe I can get a replacement for the Castlevania Bloodlines manual eventually. But anyways, I hope you guys all had a great 4th, and you know what to do. Get out there and get hunting. Forgot to say one thing. I'm setting up my my shot here at the end just to show you everything I got. But the cigarette smoke is not so much of a problem. You can get something like these dryer sheets and wrap your stuff in them, and they will, after a day or two, I kept them for longer, but they'll absorb the odor. And I got even though I got the odor-free kind here, they still have some scent from the dryer sheet. The dryer sheets are not completely odor-free, I guess, but it seems like that goes away really fast, so they don't even smell like the dryer sheets anymore. So use that. There is some, I guess, yellowing of the paper that might be there, but it was mainly along the edges of, I think Castlevania had some yellowing, but getting rid of the smell shouldn't be a problem. And so if you see even an auction saying that you know something has a cigarette smell, don't be afraid of it. I guess maybe the yellowing might be more of an issue, but either way, I thought I'd add that little addendum.